Hello and welcome to another episode of Secrets of an Everyday Mystic. I'm your host, Becky Magnolia with magnoliamystic.com. Today's interview is a great one. I say that every time. I got to sit with my new friend and neighbor, Sky. Sky is a wise and gorgeous human, and she is raw and honest. She was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer not that long ago, just a few months ago, and she's new to the area, and she's in a lot of transitions right now. She's been on a spiritual path. She's been practiced as a healer for many years, and now she's got the job of healing herself. And she is just honest about it. And what I like best about this interview is that this is the part of the spiritual path that people don't really talk about as much. You know, we talk about all the victories and the sparkles and being at the top of the mountain and hooray, I've accomplished so much. But a big part of the spiritual journey is that part where you just say, I don't know. Or you just say, I'm really tired. And that is as much a part of it as all of the sparkly on the stage enlightenment that we see and that we aim for. It's all part of the journey. And Sky openly, lovingly shares this with us today. I thank you all for listening. I hope you enjoy today's show.
My name is Sky. So that's actually that's a nickname. My real name is Sandra, pronounced Sandra because I'm German. So I moved here to the US from Germany in 1998 and been here for over 20 years now.
Wow. What brought you here?
Well, I lived here age 9 to 11 on the West Coast with my family, my parents, and my brother and sister, because my dad used to work for IBM. And I just loved it here so much. When we went back to Germany, I was heartbroken, and it was my mission number one to come back here. I always thought I was born on the wrong side of the planet. It was like, and I really specifically wanted to come back to the Bay Area where we were living. And years and years later, I worked for Hewlett Packard. And a couple years into working at Hewlett Packard, it was actually pretty funny because this is how my life works. I gave up on it. I had friends, I had a boyfriend, I had a nice apartment in the city of Stuttgart, and I was like, you know what? I'm fine here. This is good. And of course, then I get asked if I would be open to going to California.
When everything just calms.
When I'm like done and I'm kind of like over it. It was at a time where all the online advertising started, and I was kind of part of a team that did we were the first ones to do online stuff and online buyer's guide, and so they wanted me in California to help with that. And I didn't want to leave my life, but I couldn't say no. So that's what brought me to the Silicon Valley area in 1998, and I worked for HP. I think a little over a year, and then left the corporate world after that to figure out what else I want to do, because I couldn't work in a cubicle anymore. And that's I feel like when a lot of my journey began or picked up again, I think I was lost in kind of the corporate world and expensive dinners, party, and going shopping, and leaving Hewlett Packard opened a lot of new stuff in the universe.
Okay, so you're a healer. Tell me about that journey.
So that it didn't quite begin there. I actually had to move to the East Coast. So there was an opportunity for me with my then partner to move to the Woodstock, New York area, and that's where it all began. Our relationship didn't end. It was a really hard breakup for me, and I felt really lost because I moved from having all my friends, or a lot of my friends, walking distance and being busy all the time, to the middle of nowhere, where the closest town was this really, really small town. With nobody really our age, to be honest. And so it was really like the deepest I think I'd been ever in my life, although I've experienced a lot of depression and anxiety. And that got me to buy all these books and read and write and journey and learn about getting over myself and my stuff. And I then also worked at the Omega Institute, which is, I call it summer camp for adults.
Yeah.
But it's like a learning center where everything is focused, every class has to be focused on the whole body, the whole person, the whole life. And that's where I met people like Deepak Chopra, also no names, who are great healers and great authors and great speakers. And it really set me onto this journey of this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to help people. I want to heal people. And I started with massage and energy work, and I got my Reiki, Master Reiki certification there. And then I moved back to California, actually, to go to massage school and more energy school. So that's where it all began. All my life, since I was a little girl, I've been really touched and really sad about the suffering and the pain in the world, and just wanting to carry everybody's burden and make it all good. And I just wanted to find ways to heal that and heal myself. And so I did, what everybody does. I found these healing modalities, and I just, with every healing modality, I healed so much of myself. And it's still ongoing because it's never done. But that's where basically, so I went to massage school. I did Reiki. I did the Dancing with Source, which has a lot of processes. It's very actually organized, which is funny when you talk about healing with angels and healing with Source, which, could be called the universe or whatever bigger force you believe in. But then you have it is a very focused, and words matter. Then I just really did a lot of, I started a ritual in the morning, which is really helpful, which has meditation, movement, journaling, and talking to angels or whoever I want to talk to, and set up protection for the day. And it just, I fall off the wagon every once in a while, and I notice.
Yeah.
Like my day is so different when I don't do it. And I also give myself permission if I don't have time or too tired, I just do one of those things. Yeah. So I have I think it's like a 5-part ritual that I have, which I actually learned through a mindfulness and yoga for kids class, which was amazing. And then I give myself permission, well, if I don't want to journal, I'll just journal later. If I don't want to do movement this morning, I'll move later. But I want to have all these things need to be part of my day.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's very healing in some way.
Yeah.
And I think then I went so much into offering healing for others, and I'm very giving, and I always want to take care of everybody else. I had a baby, but then also I had clients. I owned a Pilates studio, and it's almost like giving, right?
Yep.
And not taking care of myself, even though I was really big into helping others take care of themselves.
Yeah.
But that's, I feel like, how it often is that you actually don't take your own advice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I ended up having breast cancer in 2017. I was diagnosed the day before Thanksgiving. It was like, oh, thanks.
There's your Thanksgiving.
Okay. And it was a really hard journey, really, really difficult. I had a double mastectomy, and they told me I would be a really great candidate for one-step reconstruction, which means they put in the implants right after mastectomy. If I would have thought, and I did not listen I listened to the Western world medicine word, like it was like this red flag, mom, cancer, take care of it.
Yeah.
And I totally fell into the trap of like just giving myself to the doctors.
Yeah.
And I believed them, even though afterwards I was like, how can that be right? Your body is already in shock. Like I don't even know why they use the word mastectomy. You're just you're chopping off your boobs. It's just like, taking off a leg. They created this nice word, so it sounds like, oh, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
Have a mastectomy.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's huge.
Yeah.
It is really crazy what it feels like for years to come. have tears coming because it is an amputation.
Yeah.
It is what it is. And it's never talked about it that way.
Yeah.
And you feel the nerves. You feel like sometimes they're still there. And I also think that at the time, my plastic surgeon you can't see your implants. Mm-hmm. Which I also think is ridiculous unless you do like the regular where they do expanders. But if you have a one step, and there was a moment just before my surgery, I was like, I need to ask to see my implants. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to make a scene, so I decided not to ask for it because I thought I'd be like this troublemaker.
So seeing them before they put them in. Okay, yeah.
And this is one thing I still have a hard time with because I regret it because I think if I would have seen them, I would have known that they're too big.
Yeah.
Because at the time I woke up, I was like, these are too big. This is my body. This does not feel right. And of course, everybody's like, no, it's just what it feels like in the beginning, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Well, my breast started turning purple. The skin wasn't healing, and I was in so much pain, and I had to go to the hospital almost every second day being looked at and poked at, and it was one of the most traumatic experiences.
So your body kind of rejected the implants.
It was just not happening, and so I had another surgery, which felt like another mastectomy a few weeks later, and I had to have them taken out. Yeah. Which was really hard, and the healing process is really hard, and nobody talks about that. Everybody talks about it. Oh, it's no big deal. Yeah. Well, it's a really big deal. Even if it works out, it's a big deal. It takes a long time to heal. It takes a long time to get used to, and it's not just a mastectomy. Right. And I thought I learned my lesson then, and I did take care of myself, but I'm just a giver. It's just who I am, and it is, and I still have that challenge of, but how do I give to myself? Yeah. Because I actually don't know what that looks like still. Yeah. That is still one of my biggest challenges is, what does that even mean? Yeah. And I can explain it to you, how to take care of you. Right. But it really is hard for me. And so my breast cancer came back this year in February and really is taking me on this crazy spin of a journey. And it's in my bones, and it's like really eating my bones and my liver and my lymph nodes. But most of it is in the bones, and I have to rest. I don't have a choice now. Yeah. I'm hurting all the time, and I don't, there now is basically there's no choice. Yeah. I have to usually at least once a day, but preferably actually 2 or 3 times take a 45-minute rest where I just lay down. Yeah. I'm limited to how many people I can talk to a day, which sounds really funny, but it's exhausting to talk to people, right?
Well, because you're an empath, so you're picking up everything.
So there's the energy exchange. Yeah. And lots of things have changed. I'm a yoga instructor, and it's hard. I haven't been teaching for a while. I'm a healer, so I really had to take a break and really look at things and slow down. But it's been a huge awakening, and if I'm not there yet, but apparently it's a really big opportunity. And I'm not quite there yet because I'm just still struggling. And with the move, of course, I didn't have much health care. So I'm looking forward to having health care again and taking some care of the pain, hopefully, so I have more quality of life. Yeah. And I do feel now that I'm a little bit more settled, I'd love to. Giving does help me receive more because there's an energy exchange. Mm-hmm. So when I'm sitting with people and, even just most of the time it's just on the phone, it's really powerful, the energy and the spaces you can get into when you sit with somebody and you just let the energy flow. Mm-hmm. So I'm definitely looking forward to doing a little bit more of that because I think because I love it so much, it's also healing, right? So if you do what you love to do, it's what's healing. Right. But yeah, so that's my healing journey. I do have anxiety and depression, which has been debilitating most of my life, that I feel like it doesn't go away. So just letting you know in case it's part of your life. It doesn't go away, but I'm okay with it now.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't scare me anymore. It doesn't debilitate me as much. Like, I know when it shows up, and I can feel it, and I'm okay with feeling that way. And then I can, with anxiety, I have more tools now to ground myself. And then, just like thoughts and meditation, just let it flow through me, and then it flows away instead of fighting it. And trying to make it go away.
Right.
But more like sitting with it and feeling it and be like, okay, here you are again, my friend.
Yes, exactly. Well, hello. Here we are again.
Let's flow. And then it's a lot easier, and it goes by faster when you just sit and you let your body relax into it, as opposed to fighting it.
So you are an expert healer, and you have communication with the angels. What do they say when you talk to them and get quiet about your cancer? So
my the angels will say that you've been asking to rest, and you've been asking to slow down, but you didn't, and this is just a vehicle to help you. And I have a hard time hearing the answers to it, because I'm stubborn.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, I feel like there's a part of me that isn't ready for hearing the more spiritual answer, because I still have too much anger and too much frustration and sadness around it all, to hear that answer.
Yeah. Yeah.
But usually what I hear is, we're here for you.
Yeah.
We're here for you. And I mean, everything it's almost like a show on a stage. And there's a part of me that believes that I can transform this just by willing it to be, if I just use like my healing power, and like, I don't know what else it needs, but we create our own show in some ways, and then also there's the outside world, and this was actually a really big learning for me, is that to let go of trying to fix everything and everybody, and fix the world and make it a better place.
Right.
And I learned that a lot with my daughter, because I see her in pain and I want to make the pain go away. Yeah. But not only can I not do that, but it's wrong.
Yeah.
I do a disservice because it's her journey. And all the pain I have suffered through, that has been years ago, like, it takes me a few years. I see, it's like, okay, this is why I am this way. This is what I learned through this. This is why I went into the healing journey. If my heart hadn't been broken, then who knows if I'd ever, picked up that book, that made a difference.
Or if someone came to try to shield you from it, which happens all the time. People, other protectors kind of sweep in, and they, or if you found somebody another partner immediately, and then you never allowed your heart to break,
And for some reason, it is necessary for there to be war. For some reason, it is necessary for people to have pain, and for all that's happening in the world. I'm not quite sure it has to happen at the level that it does. And I wish it didn't, and I wish we were all like happy and flowing and rainbows and unicorns. But it's just not. This is not the dimension or the plane or the time and space where this is happening. This is the way it is, and it took a really long time and a lot of healing for me to not let what's going on in the outside world make me suffer. Like, not to cry every day about the pain that other people are experiencing, because it is so hard for me to see, and to let that go. And I'm more of that kind of healer now. I love to hold your hand. I love to hold space for your suffering and help you through it with tools. But I'm not going to fix you. So I can help I can definitely help alleviate pain, and I don't know if I'm capable yet of healing cancer or healing certain illnesses, but I definitely want to be part of people's journey as you go through your journey, but I'm not going to make it go away if it's not ready. You need to be ready. So if you're ready to let something go, then I'm there to help you shift it.
Right.
Or if you're not ready, I'm there to help you hold space.
Right.
And make sense of it and feel better about it.
Right. Yeah. So how are you feeling these days?
Well, every moment is a new moment. So it depends. I definitely have a really hard time with the cancer. Yeah. It really, really is throwing me for like a big spin. And I like chronic pain is hard. The fatigue is really hard for me because I do have a 9-year-old daughter. For example, last night she wanted to do a pillow fight and I just couldn't. I was like, I can't.
Yeah.
I mean, I can sit here and kind of like do a little bit.
Yeah.
But I'm not as active like 2 years ago. I've been like, and jump and,
Yeah.
And it's heartbreaking for me.
Yeah.
That I can't do these things. It's heartbreaking. Like, we really, like, I'd love to go to this show of a favorite band that we have. And I think I have to tell my husband, I just can't. Because the evenings are hardest for me and I'm usually in bed by 9. And even before then, I'm already like sitting and I can't do much. So, going to a show is like, it starts at 9 or 10. I mean, if you're lucky, it starts at 9, right? So I can't.
Yeah.
And that really bums me out. And, also, death is like right in your face. Yes, I know everybody dies and nobody knows when. Yes, I could be hit by a truck today.
Right.
But when you have stage 4 cancer and it's not curable, death is around the corner. Like it can happen pretty much any day.
Right.
And it will most likely happen sooner than I would like it to.
Yeah.
And so it scares me that now I know my end is closer and I can't even do fun stuff.
Yeah, right.
I can't even live it up and be like, okay, well, if I'm going to die in 5 to 10 years or in 5 months, I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping I'll live. Some people now live decades with this.
Yeah.
Some people don't, but medication is definitely getting better and better, and I do all kinds of alternative stuff. But I can't even, be like, I'm going to live it up. I'm going to go to all the shows and dance my butt off. And because I can't, I just have to rest. And so I'm hoping and praying. And, I do believe this is temporary a lot of times. But sometimes I don't. I'm like, well, am I just going to wither? Like, am I just going to now watch my body fall apart in front of my eyes and then I'm going to die? That's not really how I want to live.
No.
But I'm not sure there. I know I need radiations and they say, that helps to zap the cancer and it helps with the pain. And maybe I will come back to, a body that's more physically fit again, where I can do all those fun things. I mean, I don't even want to travel. Just the thought of traveling for me is like, no.
Well, you guys also just moved.
Yeah, it's true. But, I'm very active. And so it's really hard not to hike. I love going on hikes into nature, and to not have that anymore is definitely hard. That you have to give up things that are precious and grounding and spiritual does not quite make sense to me.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm like, really, universe? Like, how? Like, I sometimes feel like, how am I supposed to heal if I can't like hike into the woods and hang out with a tree? I mean, yes, I can hang out with a tree next to my house, but I like to go deep into where there's nothing else, where there's no house, nobody. For example,
I'm going to take you. It's not that. It's. Can you do, like half a mile?
Maybe.
But it's a half mile in, half a mile out.
I don't know. It depends on the day.
Because you got to meet this tree.
Yeah.
It's like my new best friend. The tree is. Maybe we can do it. I don't know.
Yeah, we can give it a try. But yeah, so there are those things, and emotionally, it's really hard. And I work, I do work with my angels, and I work on being just okay with what is, which is, I think, my biggest lesson.
Yeah.
Is to not fight it, but just like, see it as like, this is a really long meditation, and this cancer is flowing through.
Yeah.
And just be with it, settle with it, and do what you need, what you need to do to make the body feel better, make yourself feel better, what's needed right in this moment. And then hopefully it will just keep flowing, and then there's a different wave, or something different will come after that. And so I don't know, I'm waiting for this big like jazz hands moment. Because I feel like I'm like in the thick of it. It's only been a few months, and I feel like I'm right in the thick of it. I hope that I'm with the Mayo Clinic now, and I have my first appointment next week, and I have big expectations.
Yeah.
Big expectations. This is a doctor who has seems to be amazing, and I also really would like to see some healers, but I need some money flowing in, so to do a little bit more alternative work.
Yeah.
And do that and receive. And I'm just like, I have to be in a state of receiving.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it's about.
Yeah. So why do you think bad things happen to people? And I use bad in quotes.
I know. I don't know. Well, I do know, and I don't know. I don't want to accept the answer.
Yeah.
I think, I feel it's part of our journey. It's what makes us who we are, and we label it as bad because it feels bad, or, it's sad, or it's painful. But I am not 100% sure yet. I have a sense that we come into this world with certain things we want to learn. I don't know if we make it up, if some other force makes it up, or what it is. But it's more like of an idea. So you're like, I want to learn more about love. Mm-hmm. So you have a lot of heartbreaks, right? Because you want to learn more about love. Right. And so you have to learn about the opposite as well. Right. So you really feel the love.
Right.
So we all have these challenges in our lives that kind of help us to learn about the opposite a little bit more, because I feel like this is what this world is a lot about, is like, is the opposites. It's like there's always pairs. It's like,
the duality.
The duality of everything. And there was for a long time, I tried to push it away and make more, well, duality is like the human experience, quote unquote, I want the spiritual experience.
Right, exactly. The non-dual.
I want that. I want like the enlightenment where where I'm floating.
Right. And you can get, like I will say, you can get there. Like if you do enough meditating.
Moments. The thing is, it's moments.
Yeah.
It's not going to be your life. No. Even the Dalai Lama cries.
Yeah,
and experiences pain.
Exactly.
Exactly. I mean, it is. We're all
and we
human.
don't want to. We're not. We're in these bodies for a reason. Because if we're just, then we still gotta pay our bills.
Then it's time to die.
Exactly.
Once you're enlightened, so this is my belief. So I don't know if it's true. I don't have any facts to back it up. But I feel that once you get to that complete enlightenment, if you do, I don't know if anybody ever does. I do know people who are on their deathbed and they're about to die, they have enlightening moments. All of a sudden, it's this moment where you're like, all that matters is love. Mm-hmm. Nothing material matters. Yeah. Nothing else matters but connection, love. Yeah. Like that's like that moment. And I think that if we are all enlightened, then we're ready to leave this body because we're done learning. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't agree with the method that we learn. I don't agree with it having to be quote unquote bad or painful or suffering. Mm-hmm. But I feel that's what this life on earth is about, is for us to learn through all these experiences, good or bad. I mean, it's all about tasting, feeling, smelling, experiencing, feeling every emotion. Yeah.
Yeah.
And some people do it more than others. I do it like very intensely. And sometimes it's really hard, but sometimes it's really amazing. It was a really long time ago. I talked to my brother on the phone once, and I would never forget what he said. I said to him, sometimes I just want to flatline like some people. Some people, they don't go into depths. Some people they're like, I have a friend who says she's a surface dweller. She can't go deep.
But she can see it though, which is interesting.
But she can see it, so there's an awareness, right?
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
but for me, it was really like, I don't want to do that deep part. I don't want to go down the hole anymore. I just don't want to, like, I mean, it's so extreme. And he said, but
I know.
do you know how happy you are sometimes? The joy you experience, the energy you give, like, you wouldn't have that either. And he kind of put it into perspective and like, oh, right, I wouldn't have the fullness either if I didn't have, like, that pain on the ground, like, suffering, you know,
curled up
and
like
curled up
you're
like
wretched.
And going like down that rabbit hole. I wouldn't have that experience of coming back up the rabbit hole. And what it feels like, especially when somebody lends you a hand, or you feel that, wow, okay, I'm back up, and now all of a sudden there's this opening in your heart and this blossoming, and my brother's like, you won't have that if you flatline. Yes, you'll be okay, but you won't have this, like, constant, like, coming out of those depths and having this, like, maybe not always have an aha moment, but having this aha moment, or having a heart opening, or just like a sense in my body of being like, oh, you know. And I don't know that hunger or, you know, torture. There are a lot of things I don't understand why they have to be part of some people's lives and lessons. And I when I compare myself with others, I feel like my suffering is benign, you know? I mean, I still have my legs. They're not chopped off. Yes, they hurt, but I have my legs. I'm still walking, you know? I have clean water. I mean, that in itself is a miracle when you look at the world as a whole. And I don't know why some people have to suffer the whole, like, not having clean drinking water, being sick, not having food, not having shelter, not having anything, and being left out in the cold. And living that life day after day. And watching their babies die because of sickness, because they don't have the healing that we have here. You know, and I have to admit, I don't know.
I don't know either.
I have no idea. Is it really that they chose that life?
Right.
Like, did they really choose those lessons, or is it all a movie, quote unquote, that we watch? And, like, how do we react to that, or do we react, or do we, you know, what do we do with that, you know? And that's the big question. Like, I don't know. And I don't know if we'll ever know. I don't, you know, you can just kind of have that theory. I think there are a lot of things that happened in my life that now make perfect sense, you know? But a lot of things don't. I don't understand. Like, really? And so that's, I think, one of life's biggest questions. My business, I founded a long time ago. It's called Dare to Be You. And my website is daretobeyourself.com, just all in one. And what I offer is anything from life coaching to spiritual guidance. I do intuitive readings. I do house clearings. I hold space. And I have a it's called my Sky Signature Session, which actually has everything in it. So it just is like whatever your issue is, whatever you come up with, we just let it flow, and it takes us places where everything will make more sense. You feel more grounded, you feel more open, and it's like me holding space for you and holding your hand, and it's a very powerful session. So I just want to put that plug in.
Thank you, Sky.
Yeah.
This was really freaking cool. Yeah, we're like as good as Oprah here. You're like, like this could have been like have you ever seen those Super Soul Sundays?
Yes.
I'm like, we're basically doing that here.